All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Missy Good. I am the Mariculture Specialist with Alaska Sea Grant. And our second panel of today is going to be about coordinating workforce development, both through education and research. We have a great panel put together here. It includes Jenny Renee, Tommy Sheridan, Adam Lau, Chandler, Kemp, and myself. And we're going to go ahead and kick things off with Jenny Renee.
Thank you, Missy. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny Renee. I work for Alaska Sea Grant in Kodiak. I have likely emailed many of you something related to the Alaska Mariculture Research and Training Center, or AMRTC, which is what I have the pleasure of introducing to you today. AMRTC is made at the directive of the Alaska Mariculture Task Force to help in growing the mariculture industry in Alaska. Since we don't have a lot of time today, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what you can find and where and what we have coming next. AMRTCs can be split up into two umbrellas right now, research and training. Under the research umbrella, we have research projects, and that page is an example of a screenshot on the right side. And it is a comprehensive collection of research going on in Alaska related to mariculture. Underneath that umbrella is also current funding opportunities from a variety of different organizations, not just one. Under the training umbrella, we have a calendar of upcoming training events and workshops and ongoing resources. Right now, this includes things like the Farming Bull Kelp Lessons and Considerations document that was talked about earlier, the courses that are offered at UAS, and resources from previous trainings. Under construction, though, is a digital resource library, which I am super excited about. It's an example of what the types of things that we're going to host in it. It's going to have manuals, peer-reviewed papers, reports, and one-pagers, like the organic certifications document that we was also talked about. This is a very, very short talk, and I wanted to show you guys every single thing that AMRTC has to offer, and I am just not able to do that in this short amount of time. So I invite you all to check out the website, amrtc.org. Go through all the pages, see if you can find what you're looking for, see if your research project is on our research page. And if it's not, I invite you to go over to our contact us page, which will direct you to a form you can fill out, and it'll be sent directly to me. I can either give you the information you're looking for or send you to the appropriate person and then add it on to AMRTC. So please just do not hesitate to reach out for anything that you want to add or see there. Also, I did want to take this time to thank you all for being here and for contributing all that you have. I've been sitting at the table for a lot of time, so I haven't seen a lot of people's talks, but I've heard everything that's been going on and the passion in the room, and it's really moved me. And normally I would be shaking and you wouldn't be able to hear me talk because I'd be so nervous, but I just feel like this is a really wonderful group of people and we're doing really wonderful things. So I just want to say thank you for being here. And wanted to give a quick shout out to Jessica Whitney. She runs the AMRTC social media. It's Facebook and Instagram. Please feel free to pull out your phones and give a follow now if you'd like. She does a great job at keeping things updated, announcing current funding opportunities, any kind of events that are happening, and so it's great to be following along with that. You can also subscribe to the AMRTC monthly newsletter that will include those types of new things too. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you again so much for your time and for being here. And please come find me or email me if you want to talk about AMRTC, I will be emailing most likely, like most of you guys, about your current projects that aren't on the website. So look out for emails from me about that. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny. And I definitely want to push, if you have a research project, please get back to Jenny when she reaches out to you. All right, next we have Tommy to tell us about the Alaska Blue Economy Center.
Thank you very much. Good job, Jenny. My name is Tommy Sheridan. I work for University of Alaska Fairbanks at the Alaska Blue Economy Center. I live in Cordova, where my wife and I are raising 2 young children. So I really enjoyed Dune's presentation yesterday, so thanks to all who made that possible. My ancestors are from Ireland, and we also have the gift of the gab. And so limiting me to 3 slides in 5 minutes is always a bit of a challenge, but I'll do my best here. ABEC was founded in 2019 by Chancellor Dan White and many others who had a vision that it would serve as a collaborative capacity builder for both internal and external partners. Our interests, the blue economy and opportunities therein are very broad, but since 2022, the majority of our funding has been from a legislative appropriation to the University of Alaska to support mariculture research and development in the state. So that's what I'll focus on here today. ABEC received about $2 million from that appropriation, and we funded a program we refer to as Mariculture Innovation Research Fund. So we funded about 6 projects that have statewide reach. You've seen many of their presentations here on this stage, and others were featured in the poster session last night. And I'm going to read out the names of the PIs here really quickly just to acknowledge them and thank them for all the work that they do. And they are last names, alphabetically: Bowers, Branson, Green and Caravano, Steckel and Peoples, Wilson and Gross, and Umenzor and Stevens. So very familiar names for all of us here in this audience. They're the busiest folks in the business in a lot of ways, and we're just really grateful for the opportunity to support you all in the work that you do, and thank you for all that you do. So through these projects, we've supported 13 UA faculty across the state, including 1 faculty member with University of Alaska, 10 with UAF, and 2 with University of Alaska Southeast. We've supported through these efforts partners around the state, 23 industry partners with really statewide reach and impact beyond that. And something that I'm really happy about this project is that we've engaged with now 33 students, many of which are thanks to Angie Bowers and her coworkers at the UAS Applied Fisheries Program. So the picture on this slide to the left are some representatives of that program and project where sampling equipment was distributed to one of the state's salmon hatcheries in Southeast Alaska this past fall. Another program that we're involved with through a lot of our engagement with stakeholders around the state and all the money that's coming to the state, we just experienced personally and recognize that grant applications are hard. And there's limited time, there's limited capacity, and I think we're missing out on some opportunities as a result. So we partnered with a highly reputable firm named Grant Management Associates to work with us to share with stakeholders in Alaska that are involved with mariculture, energy projects, or innovation within those sectors to help share with those stakeholders GMA's grant management program, which includes a very involved strategic planning process, really a lot of highly informed assistance with application narratives, et cetera. And then for some, this will involve real assistance on grant writing and grant submission itself. So it's something that we're pretty excited about. We partnered with GMA, of course, but then also Alaska Center for Energy and Power and Center ICE. We had workshops the week of January 15th, and our deadline was just this past week. We had 15 applications, and we're hopeful that we'll have another round here in the coming weeks. And then finally, and I don't want to take up too much more time and steal Adam's thunder, but I'll put in a plug here for our work with City of Valdez. ABEC has a partnership with City of Valdez to support their interests in mariculture development in and around Valdez, Prince William Sound, and beyond, wherever possible. And one of the programs that we've supported through this is development of a teaching through technology site in Valdez. So these are students that were in Valdez this past summer conducting mariculture sampling in Valdez. And it's just something that the city is really passionate about and very supportive of. And as we develop that program, we'll see benefits for mariculture stakeholders statewide that I would love to take the time to talk about at our booth. We're in booth number 2 over in the far corner. I'm here with Megan Cook with Center Ice and ABEC, and Mark Billingsley with Center Ice. So thanks for the time here. Thanks for all of the hard work to put this conference together. It's truly remarkable. Thank you.
Thanks, Tommy. And so we can learn a little bit more about teaching through technology, we'll have Adam come up next.
Hello and welcome. My name is Adam Lau. I'm the Director for Teaching Through Technology, or the T3 Alaska program. I also have a difficult time shortening my presentation just down to 5 minutes like this, but I put our website up there so that if you're curious, you can look around and see some things in there. But in the next 5 minutes, what I hope to do is share a little bit about myself and the program that we've got, and kind of pique your interest, because I think over the course of the next few years, this industry has a lot of relevance to high school students who are going to be looking for ways that they can affect change in their community. And ultimately, teaching through technology is a vehicle for doing just that. I live in Fairbanks. I have a history, though. I've been a high school science teacher for about 18 years, so my last few years have been in administration of an Upward Bound program. And the Upward Bound is a program that supports first-generation high school students coming to college. It's through that program that we've been able to build upon what we've learned there and expand to add new sites and new methodologies in programming. So on this map there, you see currently there's like around 290, 300 students across all those communities in Alaska. 3 years ago, the number of communities there was 10. Now we're up to 16, and we've got more schools that come in. When schools come in, we like to find funding ahead of time so that we're not asking a school to put forward their own money. But each one of those schools has a makerspace, and it has a coach who's paid to follow some procedures and strategies for engaging in community projects. It also says 400 plus university students. So we have our base or hub makerspace that's located at UAF. It employs a number of college students, and it has connections with a number of partners within the university. So if a student in one of these communities is working on a cool project and has questions, they can hit a button and boom, be talking to us in Fairbanks, and we can connect in with all the other researchers that we're needing to. And I like to say the UA system, because it's not just Fairbanks that has our experts. They are broadly all over the place, and they can work with us. So our core, what happens there, a makerspace, a T3 site has 3 core things that it keeps. The first is that safe learning environment. If you think of yourself like that 8th grader, that 9th grader, 10th grader, excited about doing something, if you feel safe taking a risk, feel safe failing, feel safe learning a new technology that maybe you're just being introduced to, then you're in a good position for growth. And that's what we try to strive first, and then teach and allow pathways for learning tech skills. When we define tech skills, it is broad. It's everything from learning to program little microcontroller, Raspberry Pi things, learning to fly a drone, learning to cook, learning to tell a story in an effective manner. All of these things are skills that once those are learned, it's like we've got a heat-seeking opportunity to walk out in that community and find partners like you, find people that are out there with challenges or with things that they're working on, and allow those students to spend time working at it. And if the situation comes up where we need a little support for this project we're working on, then there's a pathway to write a mini grant. We're grateful to the support from Alaska Center Ice for funding students who have project ideas. They've identified a project in their community. They can work backwards and write their own proposal for that. So here's some of the core technologies we're introduced to, building Raspberry Pis, 3D printing, computers, coding, sensors, but again, there are many others. We're also connected with a statewide network of clubs that are led by subject matter experts. I'm excited that in the upcoming year, we're gonna have, with the support partnership of ABEC, we're gonna have another statewide club focused on mariculture. Currently, Alaska Center for Energy and Power runs our statewide energy club. Earth OBS Club is run by Alaska Earthquake Center. We're working with Aquasi, another drone experts doing drone stuff, and we run the Makerspace Club. But just imagine, across the state, Tuesdays and Thursdays, there are students zooming in and going, oh, cool, look what I just did. Oh, awesome, this is so cool, let me check out this thing. Sharing the results of the projects. Imagine the moment when they come here and say, hey, I'd like to show off some of the cool stuff we've done. So, as any high school teacher knows, I recognize that we've got a group of high school students here from Ketchikan. I'd just like to take a moment and just give everybody a round of applause for these guys. High school teachers who bring students to conferences, hats off to you. So a lot of students join sports because they want to travel. And in a way, having a club that is interested in doing cool stuff to make a difference in your community and then having an opportunity to travel, that's even more exciting. So conferences, STEAM Fest, whether we put them on in a community like Valdez and invite students from around Alaska to come to there, or whether or not we invest in a leadership event or a full-on summer program. I want to mention just a little about the summer program because that's one of our core things. We do 6 weeks of summer programming, and students don't pay anything, because remember, we are an equitable group, so the students don't pay anything, and they come and get to spend time learning about a subject matter. Last year, we did one that was 3 weeks in the mariculture areas with Cordova and Valdez. We'll be doing it again this summer. We've got a lot of other summer program activities out there, but I know I'm running long on time, so I want to leave you with this image here. And for all of those Star Wars fans out there, know that the metaphor you see right here, this idea of a hero's journey, if you think of a student in there, of somebody going through school, noticing something about their community, noticing a challenge, and then finding a mentor that they meet along the way, finding somebody who says, it's okay, you are going to fail, it's going to be part of the learning, and then when you do get past that hard part, coming back to your community and saying, hey, let me share what's been done. And what we're seeing here in this room, as each of you guys who are scientists at the top of your career are sharing some of your experiences running small businesses, innovating, coming up with ways to diversify your income streams when you're dealing with, skyrocketing expenses. Those are the moments that we are trying to recreate. And I think that as everyone who has been our keynotes and has been making shared comments has alluded to, we need to come together to make a solution for what could be feeding and sustaining Alaska through, or just our world, through the next period of time. So that's enough. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And
Thank you, Adam. I love the energy that you bring into the room, and I think help build everybody up. And I'm looking forward to the Mariculture Club participating in the conference next year. I think that would be a fantastic addition to have kids. All right, next up we have Chandler.
Thanks, Missy. So I'm Chandler Kemp. I'm an assistant professor of sustainable energy with UAF Bristol Bay campus. So that means I live in Dillingham, and I teach classes about renewable energy and energy efficiency. And I also help with some research projects. Right now, I'm going to talk about the Green Energy and Mariculture Project. So this project is managed by the Alaska Fisheries Development Foundation, and it's funded by the Build Back Better program. And the idea here is to look at how energy is used in kelp and seaweed farms and in processing and in transport, identify opportunities for efficiency or renewable energy to be integrated there, and then help develop a plan that we hope will empower all of you to, as this industry is building in the way we hope that it does, to minimize reliance on fossil fuels and be as efficient as possible. So right now, we're just starting this project, and we're really looking to learn from everybody who's already in the industry and compile information about how energy is currently being used. So that means kelp farmers, oyster farmers, processors, and we have stipends available if people are interested in participating to compensate you for the time in communicating with us about how your operations work. And also, as part of that, we're looking to come to some of the sites and conduct energy assessments. That means measuring energy use and providing a report about how energy is being used and if there's any low-hanging fruit that we can find there. And of course, all this work has to take place in the context of the energy plans that have already been developed by tribes and by governments in the regions where mariculture is happening. And so one of our goals is to show how the mariculture industry can help achieve some of the goals that have already been identified in those plans, and also how mariculture specifically fits into these broader plans. Once we've learned this information, we aim to compile it and make it accessible to people, evaluate those opportunities for efficiency or renewable energy, and have a written plan, and also have outreach through presentations and direct conversations with the same people who helped us get started in the first place. And it's been really exciting for me to be at this conference because we've already heard a lot about energy here. I've heard Alicia Cipher talking about using waste heat from a diesel power plant to dry kelp. We heard from Evie about drying kelp in high tunnels and IR drying processes. We also heard about heating water for growing oysters faster. So I'm hearing from all of you that there's a lot of interest in energy questions. And there's also a lot of really exciting work already happening in that space. So I hope that this project can provide some additional support to those projects and the resources to share quantitatively the impacts that those projects can have and how scalable they are. This is the team that's working on the project. So that's me in Dillingham. Eric O'Brien is based in Anchorage, but also lives in Larsen Bay part-time, running the oyster farm there. Mohammed Haidari is an electrical engineering professor in Anchorage. Devin Kibbe has developed a lot of the electric vehicle infrastructure in Juneau, so he's bringing that expertise to the team. Melanie Shivens is also in Juneau. She's an economist there. And then Angie Bowers, you all probably know, is a kelp researcher, and Linda Bankin is a commercial fisherman, bringing some of that perspective to our team. And we're also looking to grow the team, so we're actively recruiting a research assistant right now. And so we're looking for somebody that has experience working in mariculture, it would be excited about learning more about how energy is used in the industry. And it's a flexible position, so they can work remotely, and it's a part-time position. So I'm hoping that there's somebody out there who would bring some expertise in mariculture to the team and is looking for some additional work where they'd have an opportunity to learn about energy within the industry. So there's two ways I covered to get involved with the project. The first is if you're interested in sharing information about your mariculture operations, you can hit the QR code on the left side of the screen, and you can share your contact info and a little bit about your operation, and I'll follow up with you to see how you can get involved. And then on the right side is a form if you'd like more information about the research assistant position. So I'll wrap it up there. But again, my name is Chandler Kemp with the University of Alaska Fairbanks, working on green energy and mariculture. Thank you.
Thanks, Chandler. And I really encourage everyone to reach out to Chandler. Farmers, please reach out. Understanding energy consumption right now can really help us grow this industry in a more sustainable and efficient way. To wrap up this panel, the next presentation is going to be by myself. So, hot off the press, I think most of you have probably seen it, or at least the card for it, is the Alaska Mariculture Workforce Development Plan. This plan was prepared by Mary Lou Madden with Madden Associates. She finished that report in the end of December, so the end of this year. And then Jessica Whitney, who is with Alaska Sea Grant. You've seen her running around taking pictures. She's right here. She did the design of the report, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And this project is done with support from the state of Alaska and the Alaska Mariculture Cluster. And really what this plan does is serve as a roadmap for developing training and education programs, both for the industry as it looks now and for what we can forecast it to be in the future to the best of our ability, understanding things could change. A lot of documents and literature reviews were conducted to help guide this process, including the Alaska Mariculture Development Plan, the subsequent report to the governor, the Alaska Maritime Workforce Development Plan, and then Maine also has developed a fair number of resources on workforce development for the state of Maine, where there's quite a bit of overlap. In addition to these literature reviews, she conducted over 150 interviews. I'm sure many of the people here in this room. That included university personnel, industry personnel, other Alaska training programs, and others in other states. And through this plan, she developed 3 different goals. One is to develop a responsive workforce for mariculture that can participate and contribute to the economy of the state of Alaska. A goal 2, guide Alaska's workforce to discover and prepare for a range of employment opportunities, those as they stand now and as we can predict to be in the future. And goal number 3 is to increase the number of Alaskans working in this sector. And in order to do this, to meet these goals, she's developed 5 different strategies. We have developed 5 different strategies. This is all really accumulation of the input that she's gotten from many of us in the room and many of us in this industry. Those include grow the awareness of occupations within the industry, improve workforce readiness, train Alaskans for mariculture careers, marshal internal University of Alaska resources to support the industry growth, and promote sustained industry development. Along with each of these strategies includes action steps. So a suite of action steps that can be put into implementation now and ones that we can work on as we go down this road. There are very mariculture training specific needs that need to be met, these under certain categories, so including shellfish and seaweed farmers, nursery and hatchery operators, processing, product development, and marketing. This plan really delves into these very mariculture specific occupations, but it also acknowledges the overlap that our industry also has with the maritime industry, including vessel maintenance and repair, vessel operations, and shipbuilding. This is a lengthy report. Here's an example of it right here. And for each of the occupations that are in here, it goes through short-term, mid-term, and long-term occupational needs for various operations or occupations. So for example, here's the short-term training needs, just a snapshot of the shellfish farmer. So the first role that this one includes is the farm hand. And so with each of the roles, it then includes a representative duties. So those duties that are going to be expected of a person that is in that position. It also includes the hard skills that are needed, the knot tying, the really hands-on stuff, and then includes the soft skills that are needed. So communication, team working, timekeeping, using different softwares for computer work as we go through these occupations. And just as with the strategies, we have action steps for implementation. So these are ways that we can meet these needs to grow our workforce. It also includes resources, lists of resources for each of these occupations and roles. Those resources include agencies, entities, and then published documents that could be helpful. And it also includes lists of potential partners. So those that are already working within these realms or could potentially be working within these realms for these different roles. And you guys are all probably super curious and want to learn more. So you can find a copy of the action plan at our booth back there. We have a very limited number of printed copies, but we do have some available if you feel like you need to take one home. You can also use this QR code that we have up here, so you can have a free PDF download. That PDF download can be found in the Alaska Sea Grant bookstore at alaskaseagrant.org. You can also go to the Alaska Mariculture Research and Training Center website. that Jenny was presenting on, and you could find a link to our bookstore there for that free download. And with that, that is the end of my presentation. So just as with our other panels, we're going to roll into a question and answer session. And we don't have a ton of time for that, but we have time for a couple of questions. As before, you're welcome to raise your hand and a mic runner will come around, or stand up and you can ask that way, or the Slido is up there so you can scan your QR code and type in your question and I can read it. Jumping forward. Questions in the room? We don't have any on Slido yet. I know it's the last day. Is there anything from our panel that you'd like to add? It says you only got a snippet of time.
I think what's really clear, just listening to all of us share and also understanding what's already out there, is that there is a pathway between the certifications and credentialing that are industry recognized that already exist. Things like, oiler seamanship kind of things that are in other organizations, and then the desire, the wanting to be in those things. So in T3, I didn't mention that we have some badging that students earn as they start to build up those competencies, but always thinking about how does that tie into industry recognized things, so that as this group moves forward, it has that kind of confidence that a student who's enthusiastic coming up asking for an internship or a job knows their stuff before it gets into a situation that could be exciting. So.
And we are about out of time, but I'm going to read one question. How are you integrating with Native community to engage in these workforce development opportunities? And maybe I'll just start with the workforce development plan. Mary Lou reached out to tribal and other Alaska Native organizations to request interviews from as many people as possible. And then us at the university, we have a lot of Alaska Native and Indigenous partners already that we are working with. A good example is the work we've been doing with the Kodiak Archipelago Leadership Institute, who represents the villages in the Kodiak Archipelago. But we would love to continue to work with the mariculture liaisons. As Keo said in his fantastic keynote presentation this morning, is we want to work with folks from the ground up and meet needs and work on things together. But I'll go ahead and let the panel address that. Anyone?
I think we have a lot of work to do in that space, but I am eager to partner with Native community members, both in terms of the opportunity for expanding our team that I mentioned, and also in terms of people that want to be involved in sharing information about their operations and receiving the stipend to be a part of developing the plan.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to do one more question, then move on to our next panel. Do you have people representing Mariculture Club in several communities, or is it going to just start in one community?
So what I'll say is, I ran out of time there, but ABEC and City of Valdez worked to fund the T3 site establishment in Valdez, and part of that was to partner locally with Prince William Sound College and school district staff to develop Mariculture Club curriculum that will then be available to any high school students anywhere in the network who have an interest in mariculture. So as Adam described, zooming in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and so from a very local perspective, we're really doing all that we can to connect with Valdez Native Tribe. And I'm sure Adam could speak to all of the efforts that T3 does to connect with Alaska Native students in the communities where T3 operates. Just wanted to share that.
Great, thanks, Tommy. All right, and I think we're going to wrap this one up, and if we could give our panel a round of applause.